every Saturday. Local chefs create savory and artistic dishes for you to enjoy making in your own home. So add a new recipe to your collection that is sure to be a family favorite here at Scenic Vantage Point.
Welcome to What's Cooking at the Market with Port Huron Hospital. I'm Doris Seidel from Port Huron Hospital, and we're here today at Vantage Point with the live audience. And we have our very own chef, Dave Straney, who's also from Port Huron Hospital. And today he's going to be making corn crab chowder, rosemary skewers, and fresh mozzarella and tomato salad. So good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Doris.
Can you tell us more about what you're fixing for us?
Yes, I can. We're going to start with the fresh mozzarella tomato salad, sometimes known as a caprese salad.
Can you say that again?
Caprese.
Caprese?
That's the best Italian I got. Sorry. So, well, we start with some fresh tomatoes. Usually you use a Roma tomato to do the salad. And all you got to do is just slice them thinly, you know, this away. So nice thin slices.
Holding fingers back, of course.
Yes. Use a sharp knife.
Okay. And tomatoes are so great this time of year, right?
They're perfect. You can find tomatoes everywhere, and anybody that grows them knows, wow, you got a lot of tomatoes. So you're always trying to find something to do with them. So you have your slices, and then your fresh mozzarella. And usually this is called buffalo mozzarella. Okay. You know, it's an Italian cheese. Okay.
And that's available in most markets?
Most markets. You can find it even at Meijer. You know, it's pretty common. There's lots of different ways you can get it in little, you know, packs like this. Sometimes it's in a brine, they're little balls. Sometimes they're logs. So there's many different ways that it comes. Real soft cheese, real mild, delicate flavor. I love this stuff. This is good stuff, and see, it's really soft. So then you're just slicing, yep, just little slices like that.
Very easy.
Very simple.
Sometimes cheeses can be tough to slice.
Yeah. Well, again, if you have a sharp knife, that always helps
that's
too.
That's a trick, huh?
Yes. So you have your few of your little slices like this. Okay.
Is this your own recipe, or did you inspired by something to come up with this?
Nope, it's a known recipe. I stole it. I'll tell you, I stole it. So and then fresh basil, and that's the other part of this. So you just take some leaves of your basil. You don't want any stems in there. Just peel them off. And again, if you're growing this stuff at home too, you always seem to have a lot of basil and a lot of herbs whenever you grow them, and there seems to always be something you don't know what to do with. Here's a great way to get rid of some of it. Yeah, good stuff. So then you just take your leaves, and here's a trick. You stack them all up and then roll them like this.
Helpful hints here today.
It's roll just like that, and then you can slice them like this.
Wow, that makes it very easy
Simple.
To accomplish that.
Yes. So then putting it together, have a little tray, and then you put a tomato and then a slice of cheese on it. And then you keep going around like this.
Makes it very appetizing.
It looks pretty.
Very appealing.
Just like that. A little bit of fresh basil on top. And there you have it. Very simple.
Easy to a salad, right?
Yeah, it's simple. And then you can drizzle if you like. Balsamic vinegar is always good on these. If you like a little olive oil, just to make it give it a little more flavor.
Or
it's that simple,
like this
or just like that.
Great.
So
what a simple salad.
there it is.
And wonderful for the middle of August.
Nothing to it. You get to use up some of those herbs and tomatoes and all that stuff in your garden. So
great. So
very simple, and that's how we start. We'll go on to what I'm calling crab cake chowder.
Crab cake chowder.
Which is a little bit, sounds a little different, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I know what a crab cake is, but I haven't thought about that in a chowder.
Well, what it is, it's using fresh corn and crab, but using Old Bay's seasoning. And Old Bay is very common in crab cakes, so that's kind of why I call that crab cake chowder. So
kind of a traditional seasoning, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yes.
So you start with a little bit of olive oil in your hot pot, and you're gonna put your onions, just some diced white onions. And again, you guys, if you grow your onions or all your stuff, here's more vegetables you get to use. So you just want to kind of soften those up a little bit of red pepper.
All right.
A lot of red pepper. Okay.
Okay.
I like red pepper.
Change your mind on that
Yeah.
one. That's
And
easy enough to do.
a little bit of garlic, already chopped up.
Okay. Now, usually chop yours up yourself, or you can purchase chopped up garlic and things like that, right?
I cheat because it's a lot easier when you need garlic now.
Okay.
It's already chopped up. So, but I use fresh. But sometimes
It's a little easier,
it
right?
is a little bit easier.
Well,
So I'll admit it.
Good shortcuts to take.
I will cheat.
Make cooking easier sometimes.
Yep. Oh, I do need my spatula. So then you're just going to soften up your onions a little bit, kind of brown them. And
Smell that.
yeah, doesn't that smell good? You can put a little bit of salt and pepper in there too right now. Give it a little bit of flavor while it's softening up. Okay, so now that they're starting to soften a little bit, you're going to add a little bit of water. And this recipe makes about a gallon.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's about 1.5 quarts or so just of water. So that goes in there.
Just adding that to everything you've softened up in there
Yes.
already then, right?
And then that's going to start to boil. And another great thing, potatoes. Who doesn't love potatoes?
And again, fresh this time of year already,
Yes,
right?
they're beautiful this
Looks
time
like
of
you
year.
use red skins.
Yep, they're red skins. You can really use any potato you want. It doesn't matter, red skins, yellows, whites. There's good Michigan potatoes out there too. So once that starts boiling, you're going to add your potatoes. Again, it's about 1 quart or so of potatoes. And they take about, from this stage on, it's about 20 minutes or so to get the potatoes softened up.
Okay.
So that's going to take a little while to cook. One thing I want to talk about, and most people don't know what roux is, and it's not a street in Paris, but roux is, it's a thickening agent, and all it is basically it's margarine and flour mixed together and kind of cooked. And you add it to soups, stews, gravies, things like that to thicken them up a little bit.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know,
I never knew it necessarily had a name before.
Yeah, like Grandma used to make it with, water and flour,
Right,
and you'd shake
mix
it
it
up
up,
and
right.
mix it in the pan or something. This is something you do in kitchens. You always have roux around to thicken things up, and so I don't want to talk about roux. The other thing I want to talk about is crab, and for this particular recipe, I like the good crab, but you
Sure.
don't have to use the good crab
Okay.
because crab's really expensive. I don't know if you guys have crab sitting around in your freezer you don't know what to do with.
Not typically in my freezer.
But you can go with, it comes in a can, and the canned stuff's okay. It's not bad. The leg and claw, it's a little bit cheaper, so you can make it a little less expensive than the way that I'm doing it. I like the lump crab meat, and that's the same thing you use in crab cakes and kind of higher end crab dishes.
Okay.
So, but there's ways to make it a little bit more cost effective.
So we're here on the water, and a lot of people go fishing. Is there some local fish you could use? Make it a fish chowder instead?
You could. Some of the your hardier, your firmer fishes you could put in
Okay.
there. If you put in a softer fish, it might just fall apart. Wouldn't be as nice, So
Okay.
firmer fishes like walleye would probably be a little soft to put in there. It might kind of fall apart. But some of your heavier, you could put trout's a little bit heavier.
all right.
I wouldn't put salmon in it, but that's me.
Okay, all right, and it would definitely give a different flavor than,
sure
than
would.
the crab would.
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah.
difference there.
And the crab kind of makes a particular flavor in this.
Sure.
In this, that's different. Now, the other part of this is my favorite part because I love corn, but using fresh corn. And this time of year, oh man,
I was
love
walking through the
corn.
market earlier. There's lots of fresh corn over there.
Yeah. And I've already cooked the corn, so you can do it either way. I like it cooked already. Makes it a little bit easier, a little quicker to put this together. In this recipe, it takes about 5 ears of fresh corn to go in there. So at this point, we're ready to put the corn in. So all we're going to do is, I like cutting it. You start halfway instead of the
Okay.
whole way.
Yeah, I've always been a little reluctant to do this.
Yeah, so you go halfway, and then it doesn't get all over the place.
Okay, oh yes.
See?
That's why I don't like doing
Yeah.
it.
And then just turn around and finish off that side.
And just right into the pot. Don't have
Right
to
into the pot.
do it on a cutting board for ahead
Nope,
of time.
you don't have to if you want them. Hey.
And it kind of falls apart as individual kernels as you do that, right?
Yeah, as it cooks and you stir it up, it's gonna, there'll be
Okay.
pretty much individual kernels at that point.
So cooking it ahead of time doesn't affect the flavor, doesn't make it mushy or anything
Nope.
like that as it cooks?
Nope. It works perfect.
Oh, so again, is this your recipe or one you modified from somewhere else?
I made it up. So
oh, okay.
I just kind of, it sounded good and started playing around with it, and I got it to the point where I like it. So, and it took, it takes a little bit of time sometimes to develop it and get the right flavor you want and the right consistency and all that stuff. So,
how did you develop an interest in being a chef?
Well, I grew up cooking. My whole family, great cooks, and I like to eat. So.
Well, that always helps. And I bet your wife just glad to let you take that over in the family, didn't she?
She has no problem with that.
Now, is this a popular dish at the hospital?
It's not one that I make a whole lot. Sometimes for special occasions, special events, I'll make this kind of thing because, it is a little bit more expensive with the crab in it. And but we do make, in the cafeteria, we do make a corn chowder. Yeah. So it's similar to this.
Minus the crab.
Minus the crab, yeah. Done a little bit differently. Because we do have to cook in bulk, we do cook for a lot of people.
How many people do you usually serve a day there?
We serve 3 meals a day, probably about 1,500 to 1,800 meals, 3 meals a day, including patients and then cafeteria visitors and of course all the staff we feed. So it's a pretty big operation we have over there.
And your soups are among some of your more favorite items, right?
They are. We do.
Always homemade?
We always make a homemade soup every day. So at least one, sometimes 2 homemade soups a day. And yes, they're very popular, and people do tend to like them all year round, and not just when it's cold out.
So that corn just cooks right in there with all your other ingredients that you have in there, the potatoes and the tomatoes and pepper. No, we didn't put tomatoes in this one. We have peppers in there.
Peppers in there, that's right. So yeah, we're just going to keep cooking this down and getting these potatoes nice and soft. And right about this point is when I start to put the Old Bay in. And Old Bay, again, is that crab cake staple. You got to have Old Bay in a crab cake. There's just no other way about it. And I'll tell you about crab cakes, because crab cakes is like, I love crab cakes, but it's a lot like chili, and everybody has their own recipe.
Yes,
you can make crab cakes 100 different ways.
Oh, you just pour it in.
And they're all good. You just pour it in, yeah. I do have measurements on my recipe.
Okay.
Even though it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, I do. So a little bit of Old Bay, and then you let this cook down. And what you want to do, you want to taste this and make sure you got your seasonings adjusted right before we're going to add more ingredients. So that's a good idea to put this stuff in now.
So season to your taste.
Your taste, yeah. Old Bay has a very distinct flavor to it.
Okay, and it's just a variety of herbs and spices in there. Is that basically what it's made of?
I don't even know what's in it.
Okay.
I just know it's really good.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot
like that.
No,
that's all right.
Look, it's the first thing you use for seafood.
Yeah, it can go on many things, but it's well known for crab cakes. And so, what's left? We're going to let that cook a little bit longer.
Okay.
And
do you have any other popular dishes that you serve at the hospital on a routine basis? We talked about the soups.
Yeah, we do. One of our other famous dishes is our mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah, people really like that day.
Yeah, and they know when it's not done right too.
Well, they tell you, do they?
Oh yeah, it wasn't really good today. So we work really hard on, especially those casseroles, because people do like them and they like them the same way all the time. Because we do a lot of homemade stuff there. We do, especially the casseroles, the soups. We actually grill steak and serve steak there too.
Okay. Sounds great.
And it's relatively inexpensive too, because the hospital is known for having good, cheap food. That's what we do.
Okay.
So.
Well, Dave, we'll hear more about that in our second segment. So everyone's going to hear again, the audience is going to get a sample and take home the recipe cards today. But right now we're going to take a short break so Dave can get the ingredients together for his raspberry skewers. And then please join us when we return for part 2. And for What's Cooking at the Market with Port Huron Hospital.